Welcome to Czechia. A land shaped by stone fortresses, ancient squares, and deep forest valleys. Across this country, rivers carve historic towns into curves, castles rise from volcanic spires, and centuries of architecture tower above quiet streets. From Prague's glowing skyline to the hidden ridges of Bohemia and Moravia, Czechia reveals a landscape where history and nature meet in dramatic contrast. Czechia stands at the heart of Central Europe, defined by timeless cities, rolling lowlands, and mountain ranges that fade into the horizon. Its landscapes shift from medieval town centers to river meanders, sandstone cliffs, and broad uplands shaped by centuries of culture and craft. Every region carries a distinct identity, offering quiet valleys, Gothic silhouettes, and villages that preserve traditions through architecture, food, and local life. Today, we begin a journey through these diverse and remarkable places, a closer look at what makes Czechia one of Europe's most captivating destinations. But before we continue, here's a question that reveals one of Czechia's biggest secrets. How well do you know Czechia's geography and heritage? Which Czech region is famous for volcanic peaks and dramatic rock formations? Tell us your answer in the comments, but keep watching to discover the right clues. If you enjoy meaningful and beautifully crafted journeys like this, please support the channel. Liking and subscribing is completely free, yet it helps creators more than you can imagine. And tell us in the comments, which country should we explore next? Geography and location. Czechia sits in Central Europe with no coastline, bordered by Poland, Germany, Austria, and Slovakia. Its terrain includes river basins, volcanic hills, sandstone cliffs, and mountain ranges reaching above 1,400 meters or 4,593 feet. The country is divided into 3 historic regions: Bohemia, Moravia, and a small part of Silesia. Culture and traditions. Czech culture blends medieval heritage with music, literature, and craftsmanship. Festivals, folk traditions, and regional architecture reflect centuries of local identity. Glassmaking, puppetry, and classical music remain important elements of cultural life. Food and cuisine. Czech cuisine is hearty and regional, featuring roasted meats, dumplings, and soups. Popular local dishes include svíčková, goulash-style meals, and fresh pastries. River fish, smoked meats, and Moravian specialties appear across towns and villages. History and heritage. Czechia is known for its preserved medieval towns, Gothic landmarks, and Renaissance squares. With over 2,000 castles and chateaux, it holds one of the highest densities of historic sites in Europe. Many centers like Prague and Český Krumlov are UNESCO World Heritage Sites. Economy and lifestyle. Czechia has a stable industrial economy supported by automotive production, technology, tourism, and services. Cities like Prague, Brno, and Ostrava combine modern development with centuries-old districts. Daily life balances urban convenience with easy access to forests, parks, and river valleys. Unique laws, customs. Czech towns often maintain long-standing customs, including seasonal markets and craft fairs. In many regions, traditional house signs remain on old streets used before numerical addresses. Local communities also preserve regional architecture, ensuring historical layouts remain intact. Now let's step into the cities where Czech history rises from every street. Prague. Prague rises along the Vltava River, a city shaped by ridges, bridges, and a skyline marked with centuries of architectural craft. Its historic center curves with the river, creating a landscape where stone towers and grand facades stand above red-tiled districts. Narrow lanes climb gently toward higher ground, opening into spacious squares lined with arcades and heritage buildings. Each district reflects a different era, from Gothic silhouettes to Renaissance courtyards and Baroque-inspired halls, all preserved with remarkable detail. The river remains the city's main thread. 18 bridges cross its course within the metropolitan area, linking islands, waterfront walkways, parks, and cultural quarters. Swans move along the current, while boats and ferries bring gentle motion to the wide bends of the Vltava. Prague's lifestyle combines calm urban rhythms with vibrant artistic energy. Markets fill open squares, trams run through historic avenues, and cafes spill into cobbled streets. Local dishes such as roasted meats, dumplings, and pastries add warmth to the city's daily life, especially on cool evenings. From higher ridges, the view stretches across tightly packed roofs, stone towers, and parallel bridges shimmering above the river. At night, Prague glows with soft golden light that reflects across the water, giving the city a distinctly cinematic character. Prague's blend of history, design, and river scenery makes it one of Central Europe's most captivating destinations. Český Krumlov. Český Krumlov bends around a tight curve of the Vltava River, creating one of the most picturesque townscapes in southern Bohemia. The water surrounds the historic center on three sides, pressing rows of red roofs and narrow streets into a compact, harmonious shape. The town's layout rises gently from riverside lanes toward a rocky ridge where the Český Krumlov castle stretches along the promontory. Its colorful tower stands high above the rooftops, visible from every corner of the old streets. Walkways, terraces, and arcaded courtyards offer views across tiled gables and chimneys clustered along the river. Český Krumlov carries centuries of heritage. Its preserved houses reflect Gothic, Renaissance, and Baroque craftsmanship, each facade weathered by time yet carefully maintained. Markets once filled the small squares, and today cafes, craft shops, and galleries occupy restored buildings. The town's lifestyle is calm and artistic. Local restaurants serve regional meals such as roasted meats, soups, and river fish dishes. Bakeries offer pastries and warm specialties enjoyed by visitors exploring the winding streets. Beyond the center, low hills and meadows frame the town. Walking paths follow the river's bends, leading to quiet viewpoints along the surrounding slopes. At sunset, the rooftops glow softly and the tower reflects in the Vltava, creating a serene and cinematic atmosphere. Český Krumlov remains one of Czechia's most enchanting historic towns, blending nature, river scenery, and centuries of architectural beauty. Karlovy Vary. Karlovy Vary lies in a narrow valley carved by the Teplice River, its pastel facades rising along both banks where steep forested slopes press close to the town. The river winds between ridges, creating long curves that shape streets, colonnades, and quiet walkways. The town has been known for its mineral springs for centuries. Steam rises from vents along the riverfront, carrying the warm scent of natural waters that have flowed from the earth since medieval times. Elegant arcades shelter the springs, drawing visitors who come to taste the mineral-rich water and experience the region's spa culture. Karlovy Vary's architecture reflects its long history as a retreat for artists and travelers. Rows of buildings feature ornate details, balconies, and wide windows facing the river. The surrounding hills hold lookout points and pavilions reached by winding forest paths. Local food traditions add warmth to the experience. Shops offer wafers, pastries, and regional dishes enjoyed after walks along the colonnades. Cafes sit close to the river, creating a relaxed atmosphere at all times of the day. From higher slopes, the town appears as a ribbon of colorful rooftops set between green hills. The contrast between forest, water, and elegant streets gives Karlovy Vary a refined yet natural character. Karlovy Vary remains one of Czechia's most distinctive destinations, blending spa heritage, scenic landscapes, and calm urban life. Kutná Hora. Kutná Hora rises on a series of ridges overlooking the Verklic Valley, a landscape shaped by centuries of mining and historic craftsmanship. The town once held immense importance, powered by silver deposits that transformed it into one of medieval Europe's richest centers. Narrow lanes climb toward high ground, opening onto squares lined with arcaded houses and stone facades. These preserved structures reflect Gothic and Renaissance influences, each one linked to the town's prosperous past. Along the edges of the old center, terraces and walkways offer sweeping views across fields and low hills that surround the town. Kutná Hora's identity grew from silver. In the 13th century, mines cut deep into the slopes, drawing workers, traders, and artisans who built the town's distinctive layout. Historic halls and former administrative buildings still hint at this era, blending seamlessly with newer residential districts. Daily life moves at a calm pace. Local cafes serve pastries, roasted meats, and traditional Central European dishes. Shops display regional crafts, while markets fill the compact squares during the warmer months. From higher streets, the town appears as a layered tapestry of roofs pressed against the ridges. The contrast between historic stonework and open countryside gives Kutná Hora a peaceful yet powerful character. Kutná Hora remains one of Czechia's most compelling historic towns, shaped by industry, heritage, and remarkable craft. Brno. Brno spreads across a basin shaped by converging rivers and low ridges, giving the city a layered skyline of towers and red roofs. Hills rise in every direction, enclosing neighborhoods that climb along winding streets and open into spacious squares. Historic fortifications once defined Brno's identity. On one ridge stands a major hilltop stronghold, its walls overlooking the center and the quiet streets below. Opposite it, tall spires crown another height, marking one of the city's most recognizable silhouettes. Brno grew as a crossroads of trade and craftsmanship. Workshops, markets, and administrative halls shaped its early layout, while later districts expanded along tram lines and boulevards. The result is a blend of medieval lanes, modern architecture, and leafy park areas that soften the urban landscape. Local culture thrives in daily life. Cafes and street markets fill central squares, offering pastries, roasted meats, and Moravian specialties. In the evenings, restaurants and small venues create a lively yet relaxed atmosphere. The city is also an economic and academic hub. Technical institutes, creative industries, and business centers draw students and professionals, giving Brno a youthful and energetic character. From the surrounding hills, the view stretches across rooftops, ridges, and slow-moving river valleys. Brno's combination of culture, history, and natural contours makes it one of Czechia's most engaging and balanced cities. Moravian Karst. The Moravian Karst stretches across a landscape of deep valleys, limestone plateaus, and underground systems shaped by water over millions of years. This region covers more than 100 square kilometers, forming one of Central Europe's most dramatic natural environments. The terrain is defined by sinkholes, gorges, and cliffs carved in ancient limestone. Rivers disappear beneath the ground, re-emerging in long cave passages that extend for many kilometers. These formations reflect a geological history tied to a time when the entire area was submerged under ancient seas. Above ground, the land rises into rolling ridges and forested slopes. Walking trails wind through quiet valleys where meadows, rock walls, and small villages create a peaceful countryside atmosphere. Local communities have long relied on agriculture, forestry, and craft traditions that remain visible in rural lifestyle. The region is best known for its extensive cave systems. Visitors often explore narrow corridors, large chambers, and underground rivers on guided routes. Boat rides along subterranean waterways offer a rare perspective on the hidden landscape beneath the hills. Wildlife flourishes across the forests and open fields. Birds circle above cliffs, and diverse plant species grow along the moist walls of gorges. From high viewpoints, the Moravian Karst appears as a vast green mosaic marked by stone ridges and deep shadows. Its blend of geology, forest scenery, and quiet rural life makes it one of Czechia's most striking natural regions. Adršpach Teplice Rocks. The Adršpach Teplice Rocks form one of Czechia's most dramatic natural landscapes, shaped by sandstone towers rising sharply from forested ground. This maze of cliffs, pillars, and narrow passages stretches across northeastern Bohemia, creating a terrain carved by wind, water, and time. Tall formations stand like walls, some reaching more than 80 meters or 262 feet above the forest floor. Their shapes shift from thin spires to massive blocks, each marked with layers that reveal centuries of erosion. Paths weave through tight corridors where sunlight filters in thin bands between the rocks. The region has long attracted hikers, climbers, and nature enthusiasts. Wooden walkways lead across small lakes and meadows, guiding visitors to viewpoints overlooking the maze below. Boat rides glide close to sheer sandstone faces, offering a quiet look at the reflections on calm water. Local wildlife thrives in this protected landscape. Birds nest along cliff ledges, and mosses grow on shaded walls where moisture gathers after rainfall. Villages around the reserve maintain traditional rural life, with small cafes and local dishes welcoming visitors after long hikes. From elevated points, the rock city spreads in every direction as a dense forest of stone. Its combination of towering formations, narrow gorges, and quiet water surfaces gives the Adršpach Teplice Rocks an unforgettable cinematic character. Dolní Morava, Sky Walk. Dolní Morava stands in a high mountain valley near the Czech-Polish border, surrounded by steep ridges and forests that rise into the Králíky Sněžník range. The landscape opens into broad slopes where meadows meet dense spruce woods, creating a calm alpine setting. Above the hillside rises the Sky Walk, a 58.5 meters or 192 feet wooden structure designed to lift visitors into open air. Its spiraling walkway climbs gently toward viewing platforms that stand at an elevation of 1,116 meters or 3,661 feet. The structure curves in flowing lines, offering wide views across mountain valleys and rolling ridges. The ascent feels gradual and open. Sections of mesh and nets create moments where visitors can look directly at the ground far below. At the top, wind moves across the platform, carrying the scent of forests and high-altitude air. Dolní Morava blends mountain leisure with light adventure. The resort offers hiking paths, cycling routes, and seasonal activities across the slopes. After the climb, many visitors choose the 101-meter, 331-foot toboggan slide for a quick and playful return. Local dishes, pastries, and warm meals are served in nearby lodges, adding comfort after time spent outdoors. In winter, snow covers the ridges and the skywalk overlooks a bright white landscape. In summer, wildflowers line the trails and the valleys glow in soft evening light. Dolní Morava's combination of mountain scenery, engineering design, and outdoor experiences makes it one of Czechia's most impressive modern landmarks. Vltava River. The Vltava River flows more than 430 kilometers or 267 miles through the heart of Czechia, shaping towns, valleys, and ridges long before modern borders existed. It begins in the Šumava highlands as a narrow stream running between peat bogs and dark forests, then gathers strength as it moves north. Along its journey, the river widens into reservoirs framed by hills and quiet villages. These lakes reflect surrounding slopes in calm weather, turning the landscape into long stretches of silver water. In winter, parts of the surface freeze into sheets of ice, creating a striking contrast with the dark forests nearby. The Vltava enters towns and cities in smooth curves. In Prague, it becomes the defining feature of the capital. Bending through districts lined with towers, bridges, and stone embankments, islands, parks, and boat landings break the flow, while ferries and swans move across the broad current. Communities along the river have relied on it for fishing, trade, and transport for centuries. Today, walking paths follow its banks, offering quiet routes with views of cliffs, meadows, and historic structures. Cafes near the water serve pastries, roasted dishes, and warm drinks, adding comfort to the riverfront atmosphere. Southward, the Vltava loops around towns like Český Krumlov in dramatic arcs. These curves create natural viewpoints where rooftops and ridges merge with the river's reflective surface. The Vltava remains Czechia's most iconic waterway, carrying history, landscapes, and daily life along its winding course. Karlštejn Castle. Karlštejn Castle rises above the forests of central Bohemia, set on a steep hillside overlooking a quiet valley carved by the Barunka region. Its pale stone walls stand in sharp contrast to the surrounding trees, forming one of Czechia's most recognizable silhouettes. Approaching from the village below, the castle appears in stages. Lower gates lead to outer courtyards, while the path climbs toward higher terraces that reveal the fortress step by step. The main tower rises above them all, creating a commanding view across ridges and open countryside. Karlštejn was founded in the 14th century as a fortified residence and a secure place for royal treasures. Its layered construction reflects different periods of expansion, with halls, chambers, and defensive structures arranged along the slope. The layout shows the careful balance between protection and ceremonial design. Inside the complex, decorated rooms reveal centuries of craftsmanship. Wooden ceilings, stone passages, and restored interiors display the architectural traditions of medieval builders. Walkways offer quiet views across the valley, especially at sunrise and sunset when the hills glow in warm tones. The surrounding region supports small cafes, shops, and trails. Visitors often enjoy local pastries, roasted dishes, and riverside walks after exploring the courtyards. From the highest walls, the landscape spreads into forested ridges and distant villages. Karlštejn Castle remains a powerful symbol of Czechia's heritage, blending history, architecture, and dramatic scenery. Konopiště Castle. Konopiště Castle rises from a wooded hillside south of Prague, surrounded by meadows, lakes, and quiet forest paths. Its pale walls and circular towers stand in soft contrast to the dense greenery, giving the castle a calm yet imposing presence above the landscape. Approaching from the lower grounds, the structure appears gradually. Outer bastions lead to courtyards arranged in ascending layers, each revealing more of the fortified complex. The main keep sits at the highest point, offering broad views across fields and rolling ridges. The castle dates back to the 13th century, built originally as a Gothic stronghold. Over time, it was transformed into a Renaissance residence and later reshaped with Baroque and modern touches. Its halls and galleries reflect these changes, displaying the craftsmanship of different eras. Inside, restored rooms feature carved woodwork, tapestries, and historic collections that demonstrate the tastes and interests of its former residents. Long corridors open into bright chambers with windows facing the surrounding forests. The grounds extend into gardens, ponds, and deer parks. Walking paths wind through the landscape, offering a peaceful transition from the castle's stone terraces to open countryside. Local cafes nearby serve pastries and regional dishes, adding comfort after exploring the estate. Konopiste Castle remains one of Czechia's most refined and storied landmarks, blending history, architecture, and natural beauty. Bohemia Castle. Bohemia Castle rises on a narrow ridge in the rolling hills of Moravia, its red roofs and tall towers standing clearly above surrounding forests and fields. From a distance, the fortress appears almost suspended above the landscape, creating one of Czechia's most striking silhouettes. Approaching from the valley, the castle unfolds in layers. Outer gates lead to broad courtyards, while stone bridges and arched passages climb toward the central keep. Towers frame the skyline, giving the complex a dramatic storybook character. The castle's origins date back to the Middle Ages, when its earliest stone walls stood as a defensive stronghold. Centuries later, it was reshaped into a romantic fortress with tall turrets, vaulted halls, and elegant passageways. This combination of medieval foundations and later craftsmanship gives Bohemia a rich architectural identity. Inside, visitors walk through decorated chambers, wooden galleries, and rooms filled with historic collections. Windows look out across deep valleys where villages and farmlands spread toward distant ridges. The surrounding region supports quiet rural life. Local markets, cafes, and small restaurants offer traditional dishes such as roasted meats, pastries, and warm soups. Walking paths around the castle lead to forest viewpoints, especially beautiful at sunrise and sunset. From the highest towers, the horizon opens in every direction. Bohusov Castle remains one of Czechia's most memorable landmarks, blending history, scenery, and timeless design. Karlštejn Castle. Karlštejn Castle rises from a rocky spur in the wooded hills of Moravia, its stone walls blending naturally with the dark ridge beneath. The approach winds upward through dense forest, and the fortress appears only in glimpses until the final turn reveals its full height. Steep slopes protect the castle on all sides. Gates and bastions are arranged in layered stages, each one built to strengthen the ascent and slow any approach. From the outer walls to the inner core, the structure shows centuries of defensive planning. Founded in the 13th century, Karlštejn grew into one of Czechia's strongest fortresses. Thick walls, narrow passages, and tall towers rise in tight formations along the rock. Later additions introduced more refined halls, wooden galleries, and detailed craftsmanship without weakening the defensive identity. Inside, small courtyards open between high walls, creating calm spaces lit by narrow windows. Rooms display carved woodwork, stone floors, and preserved elements that reflect medieval and early modern lifestyles. From upper terraces, the view spreads across forests, streams, and distant ridges. The surrounding countryside maintains a quiet, rural rhythm. Paths lead from nearby villages into the hills, offering peaceful walks through meadows and wooded slopes. Local dishes, pastries, and warm meals welcome visitors after exploring the fortress. Karlštejn Castle remains one of Czechia's most imposing landmarks, defined by rugged terrain, strategic design, and enduring stonework. Český Castle. Český Castle stands high above the Bohemian paradise, perched on two volcanic spires that rise sharply from surrounding fields and rolling ridges. The dark basalt towers shape one of Czechia's most dramatic outlines, visible from many kilometers across the landscape. The twin peaks form the core of the ruins. One spire, slender and steep, carries the tower known as the Maiden. The other, broader and lower, holds the tower called the Old Woman. Fragments of walls and courtyards stretch between them, revealing how the stronghold once occupied the entire rocky crest. Built in the 14th century, Trotsky used the natural pillars as its foundation. Stonework follows the raw shape of the spires, blending fortress design with volcanic formations. Its elevated position allowed long views across the plains, making it an ideal lookout in earlier centuries. Climbing the paths toward the ruins leads through meadows, forests, and exposed rock. From the upper platforms, the view opens across sandstone hills, villages, and distant ridges of the Bohemian paradise. Changing light and weather give the towers shifting character throughout the day. The countryside around the castle reflects quiet rural life. Local cafes and small restaurants offer regional pastries, soups, and roasted meals enjoyed before or after the hike. Trotsky Castle remains one of Czechia's most iconic landmarks, defined by rugged geology, striking silhouettes, and timeless scenery. Zvíkov Castle. Zvíkov Castle rises on a rocky promontory above the meeting point of the Vltava and Otava rivers, creating one of the most dramatic natural settings in southern Bohemia. Steep cliffs fall away on three sides, leaving only a narrow ridge as the castle's landward approach. From below, the fortress appears to grow directly out of the stone, its walls standing high above the riverbanks. The narrow access path leads through gates and courtyards arranged in tight layers that follow the shape of the cliff. The main tower dominates the complex, overlooking the wide curves of the water. Founded in the 13th century, Zvíkov became an important royal stronghold. Its position controlled major waterways and served as a defensive center for the region. Later expansions introduced arcaded walkways, wider courtyards, and detailed stone craftsmanship. Inside, visitors move through quiet halls with preserved elements of Gothic design. Windows open towards steep drops where the rivers meet, creating a powerful contrast between architecture and landscape. After reservoir construction in later centuries, rising waters reached the base of the cliffs, giving the castle an even more isolated appearance. Walking paths along the ridge offer sweeping views across forests, distant hills, and the long, shimmering surface of the river. Local cafes nearby provide warm meals, pastries, and regional dishes enjoyed after exploring the terraces. Zvíkov Castle remains one of Czechia's most atmospheric fortresses, shaped by cliffs, water, and centuries of history. Moravian Tuscany. Moravian Tuscany spreads across southern Moravia in long rolling waves of farmland shaped by wind, soil, and the soft curves of distant ridges. The hills flow gently into one another, creating a landscape often compared to painted horizons. The terrain is defined by smooth slopes covered with vineyards, orchards, and fields of grain. Light changes the appearance of the land throughout the day, shifting from bright green in spring to deep gold in summer. In autumn, the ridges glow in warm tones of red and ochre, while winter reveals clean lines of snow-covered fields. Small villages lie at the base of the hills. Their low houses, narrow lanes, and quiet squares reflect a calm rural lifestyle tied closely to farming traditions. Local cuisine features fresh breads, roasted meats, and regional produce enjoyed in small family-run restaurants. Vineyards mark the region's identity. Rows of grapevines follow the natural curves of the slopes, supported by local winemaking traditions passed down through generations. Walking paths lead from village edges into open countryside, offering gentle routes across fields and viewpoints above the valleys. The landscape remains peaceful even during busy seasons. Photographers, cyclists, and travelers visit for the balanced shapes and soft changing colors. From higher ridges, Moravian Tuscany appears as a vast patchwork of curves and light. Its harmony, simplicity, and rural beauty make it one of Czechia's most captivating natural regions. Křivoklátsko National Park. Křivoklátsko National Park stretches west of Prague, covering a vast region of forests, river valleys, and rugged ridges shaped by centuries of natural processes. The Berounka River winds through the landscape in wide bends, carving steep slopes lined with willows, poplars, and rocky outcrops. Dense oak and beech forests dominate the higher ground. Their canopy filters sunlight into soft patches, creating deep shade even in summer. In the undergrowth, quiet movement reveals deer, small mammals, and birds circling above cliffs that drop sharply toward the river. The terrain is varied and layered. Ravines cut into the hills, carrying streams that disappear into limestone and reappear further down the slopes. Karst formations create small caves and sinkholes hidden beneath the trees, adding depth to the park's geological character. Open meadows break the forest, dotted with wildflowers and scattered villages that preserve traditional rural life. Walking paths lead through valleys and across ridges, offering panoramic views of forests, riverbends, and distant hills. At the heart of the region rises an important medieval stronghold, its tower standing above treetops. Trails from the surrounding forests reach this landmark, blending natural scenery with layers of cultural history. Křivoklátsko National Park remains one of Czechia's most atmospheric landscapes, defined by deep woods, river curves, and quiet wilderness. Liberec. Liberec spreads across a basin framed by the Jeseníky Mountains, where steep ridges rise to the east and long lowlands stretch toward Germany and Poland. The landscape shapes the entire city, pressing neighborhoods into valleys and drawing streets upward toward wooded hillsides. The Nisa River flows through the center in quiet curves. Its banks guide tram lines, walkways, and parks that form green corridors between districts. Above it all, a sharp conical summit dominates the skyline, crowned by a striking tower of steel and concrete. Liberec grew from a textile center into a modern regional hub. Historic villas, industrial halls, and newer residential blocks reflect each chapter of its development. Markets and squares show the city's commercial energy, while cultural institutions highlight its creative side. daily life feels balanced between nature and urban rhythm. Cafes, bakeries, and small restaurants serve local dishes, pastries, and warm meals enjoyed by residents and visitors exploring the center. Shops display regional textiles, a reminder of the city's industrial roots. Trails climb from the city into the Jeseníky Mountains. Forests, streams, and viewpoints offer easy escapes from busy streets, especially at sunrise when mist settles over the valleys. From the summit above Liberec, the view spreads across rooftops, ridges, and distant plains. The city's combination of mountain scenery, industrial heritage, and modern life makes it one of northern Czechia's most distinctive destinations. Ostrava. Ostrava stands in the wide lowlands of eastern Czechia, where the Ostravice, Odra, and Opava rivers meet before flowing toward the plains. The landscape around the city is flat and open, framed by the distant ridges of the Jeseníky Mountains. For centuries, Ostrava grew on coal. Mines sank deep shafts beneath the plains, and steelworks, rail yards, and factories rose across the horizon. Their towers, chimneys, and metal structures shaped one of the most distinctive skylines in the region. Many industrial sites remain visible today. Some stand quiet and preserved as monuments of engineering history, while others have been converted into cultural spaces and public venues. The contrast between heavy steel frames and open sky gives Ostrava a strong visual identity. Modern districts spread outward from the old industrial core. Housing blocks, wide roads, and commercial centers reflect the city's rapid growth during the 20th century. Cafes, restaurants, and local shops add energy to everyday life, offering pastries, roasted dishes, and regional meals. Rivers pass through the city in slow channels. Their banks host parks, walkways, and quiet corners where locals relax after work. From some viewpoints, the distant Jeseníky Mountains rise above the flatland, adding natural balance to the urban setting. Ostrava remains a city defined by transformation, blending industrial heritage with modern culture, open landscapes, and resilient community life. Lipno Lake. Lipno Lake stretches across the Šumava region in southern Czechia, forming one of the country's largest and most scenic reservoirs. It sits below long forested ridges that mark the border with Austria and Germany, creating a calm landscape of water, hills, and open sky. The lake extends for more than 42 kilometers per 26 miles. Its wide surface reflects changing weather from soft morning mist to bright summer light. Along the shoreline, small coves, beaches, and grassy banks offer quiet places to rest and enjoy the view. Lipno is a major destination for outdoor activities. Kayakers, sailors, and paddleboarders move across the water's broad surface. Cycling routes and walking trails follow the lakeside, linking towns, forests, and high viewpoints. In winter, sections of the lake freeze, attracting skaters and visitors who enjoy the crisp alpine air. Nearby villages and resorts support a relaxed lifestyle. Restaurants serve warm regional dishes, pastries, and fresh fish from local waters. Boat rentals, sports centers, and family-friendly facilities make the area vibrant during the warmer months. From higher hillsides, the lake appears like a long ribbon of blue set between dark forests and rolling meadows. Sunset brings soft colors to the water, creating a peaceful end to the day. Lipno Lake remains one of Czechia's most inviting natural destinations, blending scenery, recreation, and quiet lakeside charm. Hradec Králové. Hradec Králové stands at the meeting point of the Elbe and Orlice rivers in eastern Czechia. The surrounding plains stretch outward in gentle waves, while distant ridges rise faintly along the horizon. This open geography gives the city a bright, spacious character. The historic center sits slightly above the river junction. Its main square spreads across high ground, lined with arcaded houses and colorful facades that reveal centuries of architectural evolution. Towers rise above the rooftops, serving as landmarks visible for many kilometers across the flat landscape. Hradec Králové grew as a regional trading center. Over time, modern boulevards and early 20th century buildings expanded the urban layout, earning the city a reputation as a showcase of clean, thoughtful urban design. Parks, gardens, and river embankments add green continuity throughout the districts. Local culture balances tradition and modern life. Cafes serve pastries, roasted dishes, and regional specialties enjoyed by residents exploring the squares. Seasonal markets bring music, crafts, and gatherings that fill the historic spaces with energy. Riverside paths lead toward quiet countryside. Their walkways offer views of boats, bridges, and long tree-lined embankments that follow the water's course. From elevated points, Hradec Králové appears as a blend of colorful roofs, open squares, and smooth river curves. Its balance of heritage, modern planning, and natural setting makes it one of Czechia's most graceful regional cities. Sazava River. The Sazava River flows through central Bohemia in long sweeping bends, carving a landscape of forests, cliffs, and quiet valleys. From its highland source, the river gathers small streams before turning south and west, eventually curving north toward the Elbe. Along its upper course, the Sazava forms narrow gorges. Dark sandstone cliffs rise sharply above the water, and dense forests line both banks. In spring, leaves reflect across the current, while in autumn, the ridges glow with shades of red and gold. Some stretches move quickly over shallow rapids, others widen into calm reaches where the water slows and mirrors the surrounding hills. Morning mist often lingers above the surface, drifting through the bends before sunlight fills the valley. Villages, mills, and historic structures stand on terraces above the river. Walking paths follow the water's curves, offering quiet routes through woods, meadows, and small hamlets. Kayaking and boating are common in summer, drawing visitors who enjoy the river's changing rhythm. Birdlife is abundant. Waterfowl move along the banks, and birds of prey circle above forested ridges. Wildflowers bloom in open areas where sunlight reaches the grasslands. From higher viewpoints, the Sazava appears as a silver thread winding through deep green hills. Its blend of natural scenery, peaceful villages, and outdoor activities makes it one of Czechia's most atmospheric river landscapes. Veveří Castle. Veveří Castle rises on a long ridge above the Svratka River northwest of Brno, its stone walls overlooking a wide stretch of calm water and forested hills. From below, the fortress appears in sharp stages, with towers, gates, and outer walls climbing steadily toward the main courtyard. The stronghold dates back to the 11th century. Its strategic position controlled river routes and nearby valleys, making it an influential site in the region's early history. Over time, Veveří expanded into a large complex with Gothic, Renaissance, and later architectural elements woven into its structure. Stone walkways lead through arched gateways into courtyards shaped by uneven terrain. Halls and galleries open toward views of the river, while restored rooms display woodwork, stone floors, and preserved details that reflect centuries of craftsmanship. The forests surrounding the castle offer quiet trails. Paths follow the river's bends, passing meadows and viewpoints where the castle rises above the water like a long, protective silhouette. In summer, boats and kayaks move along the reservoir, adding gentle activity beneath the ridge. Nearby cafes and small restaurants serve pastries, roasted meals, and Moravian dishes enjoyed by visitors exploring the grounds. At sunset, the castle's red roofs glow warmly against the hills. Veveří Castle remains one of Czechia's most atmospheric riverside fortresses, defined by history, landscape, and sweeping elevated views. Sloop Castle. Sloop Castle stands on a solitary sandstone pillar in northern Bohemia, rising sharply above surrounding forests and quiet village fields. The rock tower gives the fortress its distinct silhouette, creating a natural stronghold visible from far across the countryside. The ascent begins at the base of the sandstone column. Narrow paths and carved stairways lead upward, following grooves shaped by centuries of wind and rain. As visitors climb, the rock face reveals chambers, corridors, and terraces carved directly into the stone. Built in the Middle Ages, Sloop Castle used the vertical formation as both foundation and defense. Its rooms were cut into the rock itself, creating protected spaces high above the valley. Later periods added wooden walkways, lookout points, and small structures that soften the castle's rugged character. From the upper platforms, wide views open across forests, sandstone ridges, and scattered villages. The surrounding landscape reflects the geology of the region, where rock towers and cliffs rise unexpectedly from wooded terrain. The area maintains a calm, rural atmosphere. Local cafes and small eateries offer regional dishes and warm pastries enjoyed after exploring the plateau. Walking trails around the rock connect to viewpoints that highlight the uniqueness of the sandstone formation. Slope Castle remains one of Czechia's most remarkable rock fortresses, defined by height, geology, and quiet panoramic horizons. Písek. Písek stands along the calm flow of the Otava River in southern Bohemia, where gentle hills frame a town shaped by centuries of trade and craftsmanship. The river runs broad and steady, creating reflections of bridges, mills, and red rooftops that press close to the water's edge. The town's most iconic feature is its historic stone bridge. Built in the Middle Ages, it rises above the river on elegant arches shaped by centuries of passing water. Its presence links the old centre with districts that extend along the opposite bank. Písek's historic core is compact and welcoming. Squares, narrow lanes, and pastel facades form a harmonious pattern shaped by Gothic, Renaissance, and later architectural styles. Towers and arcaded houses add character to the skyline. The town grew around milling, river transport, and fine craftsmanship. Old mill races once powered workshops along the waterfront, and traces of these channels still mark the river's edge. Today, cafes, small restaurants, and local shops bring activity to the quiet streets, offering pastries, roasted dishes, and regional specialties. From the hills surrounding the town, Písek appears as a cluster of roofs set between forested slopes and the looping river. Walking paths reach into meadows and viewpoints that open wide views across the valley. Písek remains one of Czechia's most charming river towns, defined by calm waters, historic stonework, and peaceful southern landscapes. Svitavy. Svitavy lies in the gentle uplands of eastern Czechia, where open fields, meadows, and low ridges create a calm landscape. The town spreads across a shallow basin shaped by small streams and rolling countryside that stretches toward the Moravian foothills. Its historic heart centers around one of the longest squares in the country. Arcaded houses line both sides of the plaza in a continuous row of pastel facades and decorated gables. The square widens at intervals, opening onto fountains, narrow streets, and quiet corners filled with local life. Svitavy developed as a market town along regional trade routes. Workshops, mills, and small industries shaped its early growth. Later centuries added modern districts beyond the historic core, but the town has preserved a balanced small city atmosphere. Daily life moves at a relaxed rhythm. Cafes and bakeries offer pastries, soups, and local dishes enjoyed by residents and visitors exploring the arcades. Shops around the square display regional crafts and everyday goods. Walking paths lead from the town into open countryside. Meadows, gardens, and low ridges provide easy routes for short hikes and quiet views across fields. From higher points, Svitavy appears as a ribbon of facades and rooftops set between green hills and open farmland. Svitavy remains one of Czechia's most peaceful towns, defined by its long square, rural surroundings and welcoming local character. Krumlov. Krumlov stands in the broad lowlands of northeastern Czechia, where the Opava and Opavish rivers meet before flowing toward the Silesian plains. The surrounding landscape is open and wide, framed by the distant Jeseníky ridges that rise gently along the horizon. The historic center gathers around a spacious square. Arcaded houses, pastel facades, and tall towers define the skyline, creating a blend of architectural styles shaped by centuries of trade and craftsmanship. Streets extend outward in calm patterns, linking older districts with modern neighborhoods on the flatlands. Krumlov developed as an important Silesian town connected to regional industry and commerce. Workshops, factories, and rail lines once powered much of its growth, and traces of that heritage remain in industrial halls and brick buildings along the rivers. Today, the city balances this history with quieter residential areas and green public spaces. Daily life feels steady and relaxed. Cafes and small restaurants serve warm regional dishes, pastries, and local specialties enjoyed by residents and travelers wandering the center. Shops display everyday goods as well as regional products tied to the town's traditions. River paths offer peaceful walks along tree-lined embankments. From viewpoints on nearby ridges, Krumlov appears as a spread of rooftops, towers, and rivers set against open countryside. Krumlov remains one of Czechia's understated yet distinctive towns, shaped by Silesian culture, open landscapes, and a calm urban rhythm. Jablonek nad Nisou. Jablonek nad Nisou stretches along the valleys of the Jeseníky Mountains in northern Czechia. The city climbs the surrounding slopes in terraces, creating a layered view of red roofs, factory blocks, and forested ridges. The Nisa River cuts through the basin, guiding older districts and workshops that once powered the region's industry. Narrow streets rise sharply from the riverbank, leading toward neighborhoods built across hillsides shaped by the terrain. Jablonek became famous for its glass industry. For generations, local workshops produced beads, jewelry, and decorative pieces shipped across Europe. The legacy of this craft remains visible in factories, small studios, and shops displaying intricate glasswork. Daily life carries a mix of urban energy and mountain calm. Cafes and bakeries serve pastries, warm meals, and regional dishes enjoyed by residents exploring the center. Broad streets and modern squares reflect the city's industrial expansion, while hillside villas overlook the valleys below. Trails lead directly from the city into the Jeseníky Mountains. Forests, streams, and vantage points offer quiet escapes only minutes from busy streets. In winter, snow covers the slopes, while summer brings cyclists and hikers to the surrounding ridges. From higher viewpoints, Jablonek appears as a blend of industry, craftsmanship, and natural scenery. Its connection to glass-making, mountain landscapes, and valley life makes it one of northern Czechia's most characteristic cities. Opazany. Opazany lies in the gentle lowlands of South Bohemia, surrounded by rolling fields, meadows, and small patches of forest that shape a calm rural landscape. Streams weave through the countryside, feeding ponds that glimmer between farmsteads and quiet roads. The village centers around a historic Baroque complex built on slightly elevated ground. Its long wings, courtyards, and pale facades stand above surrounding houses, giving Opavřany a distinct architectural identity. The structure evolved over time, serving various cultural and social purposes that shaped local life. Narrow lanes lead from the central complex into quiet residential areas. Gardens, small orchards, and traditional houses reflect the village's rural heritage. Fields stretch outward in soft contours, offering wide views toward distant ridges. Daily life in Opavřany moves at a peaceful pace. Local shops and cafes provide simple regional dishes, pastries, and warm meals enjoyed by residents and visitors alike. Seasonal activities, small community events, and village traditions maintain a strong sense of local character. Walking paths guide visitors through meadows and along ponds where reflections create calm, balanced scenery. Bird life is common, especially around water where reeds and grasses provide shelter. From nearby hills, Opavřany appears as a small cluster of rooftops set among open fields and tree-lined edges. Its blend of rural charm, gentle landscapes, and historic architecture makes it one of South Bohemia's most tranquil villages. Záhořice. Záhořice lies in the peaceful countryside of South Bohemia, surrounded by wide fields, gentle meadows, and low forested ridges that frame the village from all sides. The land is soft and open, shaped by small streams that wind through pastures and feed clusters of ponds scattered across the area. The village itself is compact. Red-roofed farmhouses and simple family homes gather around narrow lanes, creating a quiet rural atmosphere. Gardens, small barns, and tree-lined paths reflect a lifestyle closely connected to the surrounding landscape. Daily life moves at a slow, steady rhythm. Residents work in local farms, small workshops, and nearby towns. Cafes and village eateries offer warm meals, pastries, and seasonal ingredients sourced from the region. The natural environment is the highlight of Záhořice. Meadows glow with tall grasses in summer, while spring brings fields of flowers and clear reflections across small ponds. In winter, snow softens the landscape, covering rooftops and open fields in gentle white. Walking paths lead from the village into surrounding countryside. These routes pass through farmland, quiet forests, and viewpoints overlooking open plains and distant ridges. Bird life is common, especially around ponds where reeds and grasses shelter wildlife. From nearby hills, Záhořice appears as a small cluster of homes set within wide natural space. Its calm rhythm, rural beauty, and soft landscapes make it one of South Bohemia's most peaceful villages. Nový Jičín. Nový Jičín lies at the edge of the Moravian Silesian foothills, where rolling fields meet the first rising slopes of the Jeseníky Mountains. The landscape gives the town a balanced setting, with open countryside on one side and distant ridges shaping the horizon on the other. The historic centre is one of the best preserved in the region. A broad square forms its heart, surrounded by arcaded houses with elegant facades and detailed gables. Each building reflects a different chapter of architectural style, creating a unified yet richly varied ensemble. Nový Jičín developed as a market town tied to regional trade routes. Workshops and small industries once filled the surrounding districts, supporting craftsmanship that shaped the town's character. Today, the streets retain a calm blend of heritage and modern life. Daily rhythm unfolds in cafes, shops, and small restaurants around the square. Local dishes, pastries, and seasonal produce connect residents and travelers to long-standing regional traditions. Markets and cultural events often fill the central plaza, adding color and movement. Paths extend from the town into gentle hills. Trails pass through meadows and forests, reaching viewpoints overlooking the rooftops and the distant Jeseníky ridges. Nový Jičín remains one of Czechia's most graceful historic towns, defined by open landscapes, preserved architecture, and a steady, welcoming atmosphere. Žďár nad Sázavou. Žďár nad Sázavou lies in the highlands of Moravia, surrounded by rolling ridges, forests, and a network of ponds that shape a calm and balanced landscape. The town spreads across a broad basin where water and woodland meet, giving the area a soft, natural character. Paths climb gently from the center toward a low hill crowned by an iconic star-shaped structure, a masterpiece of Baroque Gothic design. Its symmetrical layout and geometric plans stand out clearly against the surrounding greenery, creating one of the region's most recognizable silhouettes. The town developed around craft traditions, farming, and local industry. Workshops and small factories once powered the area, and traces of this heritage remain in restored buildings and quiet districts near the ponds. Modern neighborhoods extend outward, but the town maintains a strong connection to its natural environment. Daily life feels peaceful and organized. Cafes and small restaurants serve pastries, soups, and regional dishes enjoyed by residents exploring the center. Shops display local products, while seasonal events bring music and community gatherings to public spaces. Forests and ponds lie only minutes from the main streets. Walking routes lead to viewpoints, quiet meadows, and water edges where reflections change with light and weather. Viewed from nearby ridges, Žďár nad Sázavou appears as a blend of rooftops, ponds, and surrounding hills. Its harmony of nature, architecture, and cultural heritage makes it one of Czechia's most distinctive highland towns. Czechia is a country shaped by rivers, mountains, castles, and quiet valleys. Across this journey, we explored historic towns, ancient fortresses, deep forests, and winding landscapes that reveal the country's remarkable variety. Each region carries its own character, from mountain viewpoints to riverside paths and peaceful countryside. These places leave a lasting impression, showing how history and nature blend seamlessly across the land. Wherever your next journey takes you, may it be filled with discovery and moments that stay with you. If this documentary added something meaningful to your day, please consider liking and subscribing. It's completely free, yet it supports our work more than you can imagine. And tell us in the comments which country should we explore next.